Alright, you're good.
Howdy folks, it's WillYTheFlyGuy here on behalf of WMC Outdoors. Today we're going to tie the Mellow Yellow carp fly by In the Riffle. We're going to start out with an Allen hook, S201 C103 number 3 carp hook, as well as the Allen 4mm brass barbell. Load up your bobbin with some 140 denier UTC thread. We're going to start right behind the eye of the hook, come all the way down until we get a nice seat on our string here. Grab your tying scissors, we're going to cut that real quick. Get you a nice base going here for our barbell eye. You don't want to put it too close to the hook of the eye, or the eye of the hook, excuse me, because you want it to offset a little bit so we can put some dubbing up there in the, at the end. So take your barbell eye, set it back about a hook gap length behind the eye. We're going to do a couple wraps going diagonally across one way, and a couple wraps going diagonally across the other. Get it seated. Look at it. Make sure you got enough space in between. Make sure it's level on there, because the last thing you want is a wonky fly. We're going to do some wraps up front, some wraps behind, some back wraps like this. Then you can do your normal figure eight. However you tie in barbell eyes is going to work for you. Alright, I always like to do my flies with a little bit of head cement on my barbell eyes. My good friend Matthew taught me this trick. Just want to get it on there nice, that way we can use this fly for longer when we take big hits. Take your thread, wrap all the way back to the bend of the hook, where we will start tying in our marabou tail. Get you a nice base back there to tie in onto. Today we're going to use some brown marabou. Get you a nice big clump here. Kind of get some of the under out, get some of the nasty fuzz away. We want a kind of a nice big tail. Carp tend to like really meaty flies. So I'm going to have a tail about like this. I like the nice length. I don't really trim mine. Again, it's all personal preference depending on how you like it. But we're going to set it on back here as so. Tie it in like you would normally tie in marabou. We're going to do a loose collecting wrap, followed by some tight wraps. Make sure you pinch your marabou really well on the back so that way it doesn't shift around your hook. We want it to stay nice and tight on the top so it flows evenly. Take your scissors, cut as close as you can without cutting your thread, and then just wrap over like so. It's okay if it kind of sticks out a little bit over here. You can take your thread or you can take your scissors, kind of trim that up a little bit. But whatever's left right here, we're going to cover up with dubbing. So after you get that nice and seated, let's take our thread and work all the way back down to the base of our tail. Now we're going to grab our Wonder Wax, which is just our dubbing wax. We're going to dub the line nice. You don't want any big chunks on there, but you want enough for your dubbing to stick really well. Just going to rub that in. Today we're going to use Rabbit all natural dubbing. It's just the basic dubbing you can buy. Cabela's sells it. You can get it at Bass Pro. I think it's like $12.99 for a box of this. We're going to get a nice pinch of dubbing. So we're going to start dubbing our line. They call these dubbing noodles. I call them strands, noodles, same thing, potato, potato. Get a nice dubbing noodle on there. They say about 2 inches, but I just kind of do it by eye. I'm no professional. Get it on there nice and just start working your noodle here. So we're going to wrap down. We want a really nice, even body here. Okay, so it's going to get kind of big right there at the end. Feel free to just stack up like, well, if you can get your dubbing strand to stay. Just kind of stack up there. It's okay if it gets kind of wonky like that. Carp really like buggy flies. When they see it, they're going to think it's a good meal, and we like that. That's what we like about our carp flies. We want them to be attracted to it. We sure want them to like it. So we're going to take a little bit more dubbing after our wax. We're going to dub that noodle on there, get it nice and secure, get a nice even taper, and we're just going to start working it again. Right back where you left off, As I said earlier, you want a nice tapered body working up to the front of the fly like so. And when you get here, just kind of work this down because this is where we're about to put our collar on. So there are many different things you can use for collar. The original recipe calls for India henback in natural color, but I really like the hen hackle in brown or tan, whichever one you have. Pull out a nice long strand, kind of work your fibers away. The original recipe calls for 2, but I find that I like nice, neat, thin strands on mine. It just looks nicer and it tapers better on your body. So take your strand, take your feather, pull all these kind of frillies off the side here. We don't want that. We don't need that. Let's get all those off of there. And then take it and you're going to clip the end and get it prepared to tie in. Like so. Tie it in, nub facing the eyes. We're going to do a loose collecting wrap, followed by 2 tight wraps. Come in with your fine point scissors. We're going to snip this butt end right there as close as you can get it. I like to move my thread up here to get it out of the way. And then we're going to take wraps right here to make your collar. Okay, you take your fingers, lick them, push them back a little bit. That way we can get some nice wraps around the collar here. When you think you've got enough, just come back behind the eyes and make a couple collecting wraps there. Don't worry about trapping any of the fibers because we're going to actually work those back here in just a minute. So do 2 collecting wraps in the front. I like to take it back and do a couple more collecting wraps. Then I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to come in here really carefully and snip as close as I can. After you finish that, we're going to take our fingers here. We're going to lick them. And we're going to kind of work our fibers back here. Okay. In the original recipe, they say work on the bottom first, but I find it easier to just do everything at once. Just kind of push them back like so. There we go. Alright, and the last step is we're going to add more dubbing. Okay, we're going to take our brown, get a nice decent noodle. Actually, that was too much. Nice decent noodle to go around the eyes. Do your X wraps around the eyes. And then you're going to take your whip finish tool. Do a 5 or 6 turn whip finish. I like to do 2 for security. Snip your end. Put head cement on it, and you have now tied your first Mellow Yellow carp fly by In the Riffle. Thanks for joining us.